Yes? Yes. Okay, that's our friends Melissa and Z.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. I like their songs. It always encouraged me. So today I'm talking about living your dream. Let's think about that for a minute. Living our dream. Oh, and remember, I just saw Devin kind of lean over like he's getting ready to write. Remember the gold nuggets. There's something today in this talk. There's something in the music. There's something in the service that's going to inspire you. And so we love hearing about that. We love knowing where you've been touched, where you've been lifted up. So living your dream. See, it's important for each one of us to remember we are each living in a spiritual universe, governed by spiritual principles and spiritual laws. We are each spiritual beings. Keeping this in mind as we move through today's subject will help us, in my opinion, stay focused on how we can each begin to start living our dream in a greater way. Yes?
Yes.
Unless you don't want to. When we remember that we are each spiritual beings having a human experience, then we open ourselves up to greater, wiser decisions. As spiritual beings, we are filled with inner wisdom. If we become so bunched up, anybody get bunched up in our fears and human conditions, living our dreams seems impossible. Anybody? Sure felt that way for me a long time ago. Or it seems very far off, doesn't it? So please hear this again. When we get all bunched up for cursing, for focusing on our human conditions, we lose sight of greater possibilities because we close down. We close up to that inner wisdom. We lose sight of the spiritual aspect of each and every one of our lives. The class I'm teaching, and it's a great class, I'm teaching it in the morning and at night. The class I'm teaching just tells us to start where we are. Now let's hear that. That's so important because I don't know about you, but when I first came into science of mind, into religious science, into whatever, this philosophy, I wanted to jump ahead. Did anybody ever think about it? And the value is to start right where we are. The value of this idea is huge because you see, it says right where I am is a good place to be. Yes? Yes. For any of us to jump into, I am blessed wholeheartedly, suddenly, changing our beliefs can seem absolutely daunting. I'm the beloved place where God shows up. If I don't believe that, then for me to say it is going to work against me. Yes? Yes. Overwhelmed by our problems and moving into the solution takes a willingness to clear some space in our thinking. Changing our thinking doesn't work when we have a habit of consistent mind chatter. Anybody? Oh God, I really did. Or of repeating our problems. I was good at that. Very successful. The good news is with courage we can and will face our stuck places. With courage reminding us we're only a thought away from something new. Think about that. You are only a thought away from changing your life. Wow. Where would you make that change? A thought away from your good. Let's breathe that in. A thought away from living our dream. We start where we are. We start to clear and release old ideas that have kept us stuck. And here's an example I'm going to show you, as I showed the class this last week. The importance is, where am I? What do I believe? And what do I believe about certain things that I might want to have take place in my life? I just have one last piece of paper. I'm shopping this week. This is what I have people do when they have a belief system that needs to shift. I ask them to write, what is it that you're having the greatest problem with? Maybe it's the word God. Mine was marriage. Maybe it's money. Okay, so now you want to write your God is, and a whole list, not just once or twice. What do you believe God is? A lot of people say, old man in the sky. Some people say, not real. See, it's important that we look at what our belief system is if we're wanting to change it. If we go and say, yes, God is the beloved place that shows up in me, that reveals to me this greater truth, that I'm the beloved place. Now that didn't happen immediately as I came into Signs of Mine, because I wasn't there yet. Does that make sense? Now this one I love. I kept wanting to be in a relationship. I hadn't been in a relationship in a long time. And I had students who were studying to be practitioners. And I would ask them to pray for me, knowing, because they were great prayers, knowing that this wonderful man was coming into my life. Well, as I had students do this about God, I realized I had to do this about marriage. And so when I did this, marriage is confining, restrictive, bondage. I could go on. Not good. So here they were praying for me, knowing that this wonderful person was coming into my life, and I was over here saying, because the ultimate of being in a relationship is what? Marriage. Confining, restrictive, bondage, controlling, da-da-da-da, and a long list. And I said, whoa, no wonder nobody's going to come into my life. Do you get that? So what we have to do is cross out what those belief systems are. So I crossed out bondage, open, receptive, loving, nurturing, kind, generous. Do you see? Change your thinking, change your mind. Money, I love this one. A lot of students come up with what they don't like money. Money is dirty. Money is hard. Money is bad. People with money are not nice. They would say things like that. Okay? So especially if they said money is dirty, I would make them go home and take all their money, all their cash, and put it in the washing machine and wash it. They went, what? I can do that? Yes. And then while it's still wet, put it up on the wall and bless it. Or go and cash your whole paycheck and in 5s and 10s and 20s. The bank doesn't care. The next day you're going to go put the cash back in the bank. Yes? Yes. And then you throw this cash all over the bed and you roll in it. Make friends with money. Money is your friend. Money loves you. You see? See the difference? We have to cross this out to tell our brains this is no longer where we live. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Then you'll understand what I'm talking about. The people who are in class, they really know this. Yes? Yes. Students are true?
Yes.
Good. Okay. All right. Okay, getting back to the talk. Ta-da! All right. It takes being open and receptive to believe something new. It takes that. It takes crossing it out and claiming the exact opposite and to work with that. And the difference that challenges each and every one of us, we have to, that we have believed, that marriage is confining and restricting, has got to be released from our belief system. Remember, our freedom is only a thought away. We all have the ability to go beyond our old thinking. I'm living proof of that. We can choose how and what to think and how we will choose to live today and every day. Remember when you were a kid and you would hide something and then you would say, okay, come in and try and find it. Yeah? And as the people walked in the room, you would say, you're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. You're getting hot. No, you're cold. No, you're getting cold. And so by what you told them, if they were getting hotter, they knew to go in that direction. And if you said you were getting cold, they knew to turn around and move the other way. What we really are and who we wish to be is waiting for us to get warmer. Hear that? Who we are. And what wants to be expressed in us and through us and as us wants us to get warmer. To awaken, to speak with love to ourselves, and to learning to live our dream. It's simple. However, it takes our commitment to believe in ourselves. I don't know about you, but that took a lot for me. It takes a commitment to believe in new ideas. Oh, right, I don't believe that anymore. Learning to change our thinking from ideas that feel bad. That's cold. Moving our thoughts into the good we desire to create in our lives, that's hot. We're always getting warmer. We're always getting warmer when we feel good in our self-talk. Our desires to live fully gives us encouragement. Our desires to see a future that is beyond our wildest dreams feels good. It encourages us. And we feel better in every moment. Now that's warmer. Being scared, living worried, that's cold. Remembering, no one is responsible for how you feel or what you say to yourself but you yourself. You're either feeling and living in your hot place or you're cold in your old beliefs. I'm hoping you hear that. So you can say to yourself, when you say, oh, darn, that's cold. Oh, yeah, right, that's cold. What can I say that warms me up, that renews me, that refreshes me, that makes me feel greater in who I am? We're living in a spiritual universe governed by spiritual laws. As we believe, so shall it be. That's the biggest law that we work with. Our beliefs are going to show up for us. Old beliefs that have held us hostage can and will be changed. I'm living proof of that. And after I worked with that marriage I went to this workshop and it was about, this boat's coming on. It was this workshop about how to be in a relationship. I said, I'm going. And one of the exercises we were to sit in groups of 3, and we were supposed to describe this wonderful person that was in our lives. And one of my friends was sitting in our group of 3, and so I started describing this man. I said, he's just this most wonderful man. I just met him. He's just fabulous. He's kind, he's friendly, he's very funny, he's loving, he's nurturing. And I went on. And my girlfriend says, oh my gosh, I didn't know you met somebody. Who is he? I said, we had to make him up. I made that up. Well, come to find out, he's just like the man sitting back there. Because you see, when we start changing our mind and changing our thinking, we open to the possibility that we're so desiring in our heart. But when we think life is filled with bondage and it's not fun and not loving and not kind, then that's what we're going to get. We can't have conditions change until we change our emotions around our conditions. I'm living proof of that. When we change our emotions around the condition that we're wanting to change, it's up to each one of us to choose to live in and from our heart's desire. What is that? Is that hot or is that cold? We choose to live from our heart's desire. That's hot. Living your dream begins with making your dream real. Tell your story. What is it that you see in your future? What is it? Where do you want to be? What is it that you want to do? As we approach conditions and beliefs differently, finding a new way to think and to live and to speak, we automatically lift ourselves up. That's really hot. Today, I'm inviting each one of us to begin to feel better regardless of the conditions that you find yourself living in. That's very warm. When we align our thinking with the source instead of our upsets and our illnesses, we commit to align with source in all that you do. That's what happens. And so we give thanks in advance for our health. Give thanks in advance for your wellness. Give thanks in advance for your perfect outcome. Because the law has got to then return to you that you believe. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Giving thanks in advance absolutely works. Be who you'd like to live with. I love that one. Are you who you would like to live with? No matter what's going on in the news or in your life, are you who you want to live with? I believe that everything in life asks us to develop greater understanding, to develop greater ways to think, and new ideas, new possibilities. We are being asked to trust that life wants each one of us to succeed. What would you do if you really knew life wants you to succeed? Be open, be trusting. The greater good is wanting to be in your life and in my life. That's what I know. There's a powerful good. We hear that often, and we get to use it. In my opinion, that's really hot. Florence Scovel Shinn, who I love reading, said, the first step toward success is to be glad you are you. That's really hot. Be glad you are you. Are you willing to commit to being the best you can be? I am. Are you?
Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Yay. Anybody else?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's take that into prayer. So we just breathe into this sacred and holy place that we have created here together, open, receptive, and available to all the good that each and every one of us is. I'm knowing and accepting that the one power and the one presence that uniquely and infinitely desires to be living in my life is equally desiring and is living in your life equally. Each and every life is lifted up into that infinite possibilities, healing, renewing, strengthening, refreshing each and every one of us. And we claim and accept our personal power this day greater than ever before. For I know and accept that when we bring spirit into every event and circumstance in our lives, we are blessed and we are each a blessing. I claim and accept this for each and every one of us greater today than ever before. And with an open and receptive heart, I give great thanks, and I just let God do God's work. And if you're in agreement with me, please join me in saying, and so it is.